Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Masters Korea Special Match, the global beginning. That's what we're going with.
That's right. Judgment Day, I believe, is the final part of that global gathering, new beginning special match, the Judgment Day. Return of the Judgment Day.
All right. Well, you know, it is actually quite a special day because we've had both the Korean players who have played so far win against their foreign counterparts.
Yeah, both Strife Crow and Life Coach going down to Flurry and Look Sam. Pretty amazing stuff, actually. Yeah.
So Strife Crow and Life Coach are done for the day. They'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is that, you know, we talked about it a lot over the last season of OGN Masters about how the Korean scene really has caught up in a lot of ways. And this is the first time where we're really seeing the Korean scene get to sort of show that.
Yes.
And it's only a couple best of fives. It's only a 2-day thing. It's not definitive. But I think so far the Korean players are playing solidly either way. You know, I mean, even if they would have lost those first two matches, playing the way they do, I think I'd still be saying the same thing. The region looks solid right now.
Right. The point here is that the Koreans aren't like making the mistakes. They're not exactly bringing the wackiest decks.
They're not playing really fast like they did last year
Exactly.
either. Yeah.
So basically, they seem on par, right? And that's the thing with Hearthstone. I mean, with any esport, really, is that on any given day, the top players and top teams can beat each other.
Yeah.
As we look at Palmblad and what decks he's bringing today. Priest and Hunter. Oh,
Priest,
man.
yes. Palmblad bringing the Priest back. Last time we saw Palmblad bring a Priest, remember, it was that Inner Fire Priest he used to defeat Rini Hour. He had that 28 damage Deathlord.
It was pretty epic.
Yeah,
he became a superstar overnight.
He did. He did. And he went on to make the finals of OGN Masters as well, too. So really cementing himself as not just a creative player deck-wise, but also just a very good player in general. And there is Orange, of course.
Yep. On the flip side, he's going to be playing for the Global Geniuses. This time around, of course, part of Team Archon, one of the most successful teams in Hearthstone. And he actually, his career really took off very recently.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that all last year was practicing extremely hard.
Yes.
And kind of telling everyone, you know, watch out, I'm coming. And this year, already 2 big tournament wins to his name, been doing well in other events. And I think we're going to see a lot more of Orange in top 8s in a lot of tournaments around the world.
Yeah, as soon as he started kicking things off at Katowice, at IEM, and then he went on to win some more and still place high in other tournaments too.
Yep.
And you know, before that, he's been playing in some online tournaments and making splashes here and there. But again, just very recently took off and joined Team Archon.
Now, Palmblad is known for his extreme ability to prepare for matches, you know? Has he done it today?
We'll find out.
Here we go. We'll see what the game's going to be. But just kind of continuing my thought from beforehand is the preparation that Palmblad does, right, for his matches. And this is a thing, this is a sort of a factor where I think the Korean players actually do have a bit of an edge over the global geniuses because there's a lot more information out there in terms of styles, in terms of decks used and things like that from other tournaments for the global players than there are for the Korean players. So research-wise, I think the Koreans certainly have a bit of an edge just in terms of sheer volume of stuff you can look at, right?
Yeah, absolutely true. Because even if you, say, watched all of Palmblad's matches during Masters Season 1 here in Korea, there's just such a limited number of matches that it's like, well, is this really what he normally plays? Or, you know, is this kind of just his style, or was it just because of what the meta was? Also, that was during Blackrock Mountain as it was being released, so nothing was really stabilized in terms of meta.
On top of that, Palmblad is a hard-to-predict player, too, because he does bring those kind of crazy decks that you don't expect to see. He also brought that very aggro mage with Flame Waker and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's, I think we're in for some interesting stuff. Looks like maybe Face Hunter starting out for Palmblad, but could be a bit of a hybrid, too. We'll see.
Yeah, face or hybrid. Most likely hybrid, given what's popular these days, but...
Some handlock for Orange as well, and this isn't too surprising. Hunter Warlock Warrior, no, I'm sorry, Druid Warlock Warrior for Orange, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to just see him bring a solid set of more defensive oriented decks, you know.
Would be pretty solid.
Yep, just to kind of take on whatever he ends up beating.
Yeah, both of them thinking really hard on what they want to keep or not. I wonder for Palmblad. I mean, I guess I'm not sure about sending back the Owl actually against the Warlock.
The thing is, too, is that Zoo has been fairly popular in tournaments lately as well, so you really don't know what you're running into, if it's going to be Zoo or if it's going to be Handlock right now. Looks like it is just straight up Face Hunter for Palmblad because we go through Wolf Riders in there, and usually those are them and the Arcane Golems are the ones that get cut.
Yeah.
For the hybrid.
For sure.
Yep. I admit it. I've been playing dirty hybrid warrior lately. All right, pointing out that Haunted Creeper.
All right, well, we've seen this before. I'm sure many of you have seen it in your daily doses of Hearthstone, actually.
Yep, on the ladder or playing it yourself. At least I don't have Golden Hunter. Like
Hey, man.
Like some people.
Hey, I got Golden Hunter by playing Control Hunter with Rag.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
But what did you use for the other 499 wins?
No, that was actually the majority of my wins. Well, let's
really? Okay, all right. All right. Good to clarify that.
Well, that's regardless of hybrid or face for orange, it doesn't matter anymore. You have to deal with that board. And that's, I mean, that's the thing for most decks. I mean, unless you're also playing a hybrid hunter, it's like you don't really get a choice. You just have to deal with it as soon as it comes up.
Do you silence something? Yeah. Gonna silence a Haunted Creeper.
Yeah, I think that's fair bet here.
Yeah.
The extra 2 damage from the Leper Gnome is, I mean, I think you just accept that. But the Haunted Creeper, this way you can get rid of it next turn without any consequences.
Yeah, and Handlock can be a tough matchup for Face Hunter. It's generally pretty good, but if you don't get a lot of damage done early, you can of course kind of stall out. And I suppose that kind of goes for any matchup for Face Hunter, but especially more so for Handlock. So before those taunts come, you have to get the damage in.
Well, yeah, the big problem with Face Hunter is that it's not combo based, and that's what you beat Handlock with. Because with Face Hunter, once you get down to that 14 to 17 sweet spot, you start to question yourself on, well, do I keep hitting, or you know, what do I do? Do I maybe keep some cards in hand to try to burst even more next turn?
I mean, the big problem for Face Hunter is anti-healbot, right? Because if they get the taunts up, you've still got Quick Shot, you've got Kill Command, you've got your Hero Power. But if they start to heal, then you can really kind of run into some problems. Yeah. What is Palmblack going to do here? There's a couple different options. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be. That's really going to determine what he's going to go with. Getting that weapon out early on. I'm guessing the Spider's going to trade into the Owl, perhaps? Unless he wants to keep the... maybe. Does want to keep... I was wondering if he wanted to keep it alive for the beast's sake.
Right,
but
yeah.
I guess not. So that may kind of tip off Orange that he may not have a kill command in his hand. Nice draw on turn 4, by the way. Getting that Twilight Drake is pretty sick. Will help him curve out quite nicely.
Yeah. You also don't have any other choice, so yeah, you just go ahead and play it.
Yep. All right, well, there's the Leper Gnome. Or there's the Knife Juggler. Why are Knife Jugglers Leper Gnomes tonight, man?
It happens sometimes, though. I've done that before, too.
Too many gnomes.
I think it's also the fact that the Knife Juggler is twirling a green dagger. And Leper Gnome is pretty green. Yeah, I don't know, aside from that. I've done that, too, though. And I've had other people do that, too, in the past. Something about those two guys. I mean there are also...
Leper Gnome is the best card in the game, so I can understand that.
True, true. They're also both on the right side, looking left. Kind of in the same pose.
I suppose.
Just different zoom scale, whatnot.
It's true.
On that note, I guess technically the Wolf Rider and the Warg Infiltrator have similar poses.
Do you know how the Leper Gnomes became poison?
No, actually.
It's because the gnome city of Nomergon is being invaded by the Trogs, and so to try to get rid of them, they tried to, I forget if it was like a big machine or anyway, you slice it, the end result was a bunch of like radioactive gas got released in the city, and it turned a bunch of the gnomes into leper gnomes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember now.
Just kind of goes that way sometimes, and I think Orange is thinking the same thing as he is near death against this Face Hunter, and it's a situation where even anti-Keelbot isn't going to gain him a whole lot.
Well, yeah, you don't have Mullen Giants, so you can't really do too much about that.
And unfortunately for him, he can't, I mean, I suppose he could Shadow Flame to clear.
That feels so bad, though.
It really does. I mean, Hellfire is not going to really do you any more favors other than leaving your Twilight Drake alive. Will leave you at 9 health, though, which you know it'll leave you at 7 health because you're killing that leper gnome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's just going to... Actually, I have no idea. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, I think you taunt up
Oh, okay.
after the Dark Bomb.
Okay.
And that way you can Shadow Flame this up here, protect the next turn if you really need to. But most likely next turn, regardless of mana, you're going to want an anti-heal bot.
All right. So... it's a little bit awkward now for Palmblad because he doesn't really have too clean of a way to do this. I mean, he can quick shot and run into it with his Worgen, which I suppose is going to be the most clean way to do it.
Doesn't feel too good.
No, because then you're just kind of dropping the Wolf Rider and doing some damage, and then you just have like a lone Knife Juggler in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't really help anyone.
Yeah.
But okay, I guess you can go for that, and then you can try to finish up the draw the next turn. So
Okay.
8 health.
Yeah, he really does want that draw. Dr. Boom.
Well, you anti-Keelbot here, and then Dr.
Yep.
Boom next turn.
Yep. Yeah, I don't really see any other play.
Yeah, the Lothab doesn't guarantee to save you. Actually,
If you play Lothab, you are really...
but wouldn't you actually technically have... Well, I guess, actually, no, if they had double Arcane Golem, you would
Or like weapon, hero power would get you really, really low too.
Fair
Or
enough.
like Huffer,
Yeah.
something else.
Well, Huffer would have had to come from enemy, so that's what I was thinking. But if you had
Yeah,
Arcane
what
Golems,
is
that
up?
would have been... Now, Leok is not what Palmblad was looking for.
Yeah, he's a bit stalled out.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem we talked about.
Yep.
How do you finish the game from 14 health once again? Now, at the same time, it's not like Orange has all the time in the world. He is basically playing against the clock here.
Yeah, the nice thing is that he can run both of these in and not lose them.
Fair.
Through that minion. Gets rid of the beast, which is huge. And then I suppose...
But if neither of them die, I don't think you want to play Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
So I think you just...
I don't know.
I think you
I think
Lothab.
Dr. Boom would be fine here. Lothab as well, because it does spells.
Well, because if you Dr. Boom...
Although killing the... Well, the thing is, killing the beast really takes away a lot of the potential damage.
Right. But if he hadn't unleashed the Hounds, right? That's where things would get a little iffy. Okay.
Oh, it's pretty good for the
Does it
Knife
hit?
Juggler. Oh, not bad.
Well, it hits something. It was
Yep.
guaranteed to hit something unless it evades, but...
And saving that quick shot, because you don't want to overcommit
Yeah, fair enough.
too much.
Ooh,
Because,
there's-
and again, the draw wouldn't, you know, he wouldn't be able to use it, so. Ah, wow, Defender Vargas, though. Yeah.
But nothing of substantial health.
One turn away from Draxus, which is pretty big.
Yeah, so I think you just clear Dr. Boom and then you can Drax next turn. That's
Yep.
only 3 minions aboard. It's a pretty safe bet for Orange.
Yeah,
There's-
Orange may have pulled this one off here. Ooh, depending on this turn, Animal Companion, this could get pretty messy.
Aw, it's not Huffer, but
Yeah.
you still want a quick shot.
The bow is not
Okay.
bad either.
Yeah. Now, Orange does have Draxus,
Yep.
so all of that damage.
Palmblad doesn't know that. He has to go for it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. In Palmblad's
Yeah.
seed, you had to play that.
Yeah. got a feeling that Palmblad's about to be facing Jiraxis. Yep.
Palmblad's
There we
like,
go. It's like, yeah, oh well. That's how it goes. And now it's looking pretty much nearly impossible for Palmblad to win this.
Yep, just need 2 turns to win, and that doesn't look like that's going to get the win for Palmblad.
I don't think so. See, here's what you do, though, if you're orange. You get him really low, and then you Hellfire and kill him with Boombots for style points. That's what you do. So much damage can you do here? 12 plus whatever. Yeah, it's dropping below that. Yeah, there's literally nothing Palmball can do. I mean, I would concede at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the game is pretty much
Even if you draw Unleash the Hounds.
you can't get through it.
And
You have no draw.
magically 2 Hunter's Marks.
Somewhere out of thin air.
That is it. And so Orange will go ahead and take game number 1. And I believe he is our first global player to take a game 1 in this match. Actually, no, Strife Pro took game 1.
Yeah, Strife Pro
Never mind.
But well played by Orange. His Warlock nets a victory, so he's got Druid and Warrior left. And Palmblad will be able to choose any of his 3 decks for game number 2.
Yep. And so Orange left over with Warrior and Druid. Again, just a really, probably like the most solid set of decks, depending on what kind of Warrior it is, I suppose. But
Yeah.
Handlock, Druid, and then we'll see what kind of Warrior.
I actually think I don't know, maybe I'm just basing it off of how things went for Life Coach, but if you're bringing Druid, I'm actually a fan of bringing just Control Warrior.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they have similar vibes in terms of how they're played.
I suppose.
Obviously, certain matchups are very different depending, but that will be the same for even similar archetypes across different classes because of hero powers.
Well, looks like we've got a Druid versus Druid for game number 2.
All right.
내가 대자연을 수호하겠다. 자연이
Well,
그대를 거부하니
I wonder if this was partly also, now if it is Patron Warrior, if it was partly because of, expecting the Druid to come out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's pretty likely. And I think these guys are right to expect Patron Warrior from the global players as well, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just much more popular these days. Although in tournament play, it's still sometimes split, but
Yeah. Well, I think Control Warrior, I mean, everyone knows it's still perfectly fine archetype to play. But Patron Warrior is just so much more fun. and this comes from, Control Warrior being by far my favorite deck in the game to play. I
Right.
love Control Warrior, but Patron Warrior is pretty awesome.
it's definitely one of the most refreshing decks we've had come into Hearthstone
Oh, yeah.
since its release. And, alright, well, nothing to do here. Innervate on the side of Orange, but nothing to innervate really for quite some time. I guess you could innervate on Harrison Jones next turn, actually. Could,
Yeah.
depending on what's
Innervate out that Harrison Jones.
You could.
He will not die to swipe at all.
You never know, man.
I think you coin out a shade here.
Yeah,
I innervate out Palette Shredder, actually. Yeah, he's going to do that.
Oh, right on, yeah. You do that last time. Huh. Well, you definitely innervate out the Harrison Jones now. There's no way to die.
Well, could innervate out that Azure Drake to just sort of keep up
Yeah.
on the board. And you draw a card as well, too, so it's not that bad. The problem is that you really don't have anything for turn 4, but that really won't change so much no matter what he does this turn.
Right, you could innervate out Sylvanas next turn, but it's not
Yeah.
the most ideal timing for that in the mirror matchup. So, because Sylvanas is one of the few cards that will pretty much determine who wins the mirror matchup in Druid versus Druid.
Yeah. There is Keeper the Grove, obviously, to deal with that, but that's not around.
Load them to ensure that he can maybe deal with the board with that minion. Well,
And I suppose you just... Well, is he going to hero power, or does he just drop a shade?
I think he just dropped the shade. Because there's no point in killing your Shredder yourself unless it's a taunt on the enemy side.
Right.
Especially because of what can come out from the Shredder, right? With
He's
Shredders.
already, I mean, he's already got half the combo as well, too.
Yep. Yeah, you're...
Pretty awful turn 4 for Orange.
Yeah, you're running kind of dry here.
Clear the Shredder and see what you've got. Maybe you'll get lucky and it'll be a 1 health minion. You know, I feel like I never see things like Loot Hoarder come out of Piloted Shredder.
It's kind of rare, yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen it, but like once out of all the games I've played.
Be nice. And again, half the combo for Orange as well, too, so just trying to get his opponent as low as he can. There's an easy play. Piloted Shredder, nice board being built up by Palmblad here. And that's Savage Roar. He may not even need the Force of Nature with all these minions on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that is the beauty of Savage Roar and mid-range Jerd playing with things like Shredder is that they are sticky. You have gotten a lot of damage already done. You're already at, what, 11, 19. You also have a swipe, too.
Savage Roar is certainly nicer to have than the Force of Nature.
Absolutely.
Somebody came online. What should I do?
quiet. 어떻게 할까?
I actually coincidentally said that right before you.
어디를
Yeah, I know.
I didn't-
Yeah,
Well-
I think that you needed the taunt because you knew you were getting into range of a lethal soon over 2 turns. If you use the Savage, you can still use the Savage Roar here to clear and continue the pressure. I actually don't think that's too bad because you have a swipe, you have another shade, and you do have a Cenarius. So worst case, you can still use Cenarius for a 2/2 buff at the end to get a finisher if you don't draw your second Savage Roar.
I suppose. It's kind of a awkward board state for Palmblad either way, though. It'd almost be nice if he had the ability to just kill with swipe and hero power and the Claw, but you don't have enough damage for that.
Yeah.
You're so close to being able to just straight up win with Savage Roar, though, that it's really hard to choose to use it now, you know.
누구도
But-
기다리지 않는다.
That would be the most efficient way, though.
Yeah, because using swipe and some other combination of things, I just think you actually lose out on your win condition a little more.
You just don't have a lot of stuff aside from it, so it's kind of awkward. He's going to point out that shade too as well, it looks
Yep.
like. And so that's still 12 damage to face. We'll see if he kills both of them.
I think since you already did Savage Roar, you might as well. Oh, wow, a Captain's Parrot.
Oh. And a Sun Fury Protector. Oh, no, wait. It's a,
Shoot, what's his name? Oh, man, it's been a while since I've played with that guy.
yeah, same here.
I see him now and then in an arena, but I just kind of select him. I don't really.
Argent Protector.
Is it Argent Protector?
Maybe. We'll find out.
That
when
was
you-
my guess, but I actually wasn't positive because Argent Squire and then Argent Protector does sound correct.
Maybe.
Wow, I should really brush up on some of the cards that I don't play. It's funny how I remember the Captain's Parrot though.
Nobody can forget the Captain's Parrot, dude. It gives you a pirate in your hand.
It's a pretty OP card in the Hunter Piece Pirate.
Hey, I used it in the Pirate Paladin deck I played for a little while. With
Did you really?
I played a Pirate Paladin deck with Ship's Cannon, yeah, because it's I ran it with Sword of Justice,
Ah,
so you could get good value out of all those pirates. And then you Captain Greenskins your Sword of Justice, pretty sick stuff.
fair enough. Argent Protector, you're correct.
Okay, it is. Okay, glad I got it. Sometimes, you know, when you fly like 6,600 miles the day before and then you don't really sleep, sometimes card names kind of start to escape you.
Alright. Well, Orange has his Force of Nature. So let's kind of summon us to
Oh,
change the game a
jeez.
little bit. This is now a rough hand for Palmblad.
Not when you want to see wild growth, is it?
No. But I think you use one this turn. In
mean-
fact, you could use both this turn and you would have Cenarius next turn.
Well, that's not so bad. It doesn't feel good, but it's not so bad.
이러면 어떨까?
Yeah, it's...
The tricky part is that it doesn't really deal with the keeper of the grove, you know?
Or do you just... Yeah, I think you just double wild growth. I was wondering if you could just even swipe face.
I think
Just race him, but
guaranteeing yourself to get Scenarius next turn just makes it worthwhile. But do you use the Shade and your hero power to clear, and then just hit him for 3?
no, I think.
Or do you
here
just go for
down
face? Yeah, I think Scenarius can boost the damage enough to make it worth it.
Yeah, because he's only at 7 mana next.
Yeah, you're not going to die the combo.
Yep, even if he interfaces it out, you would live with 1 health.
Yep.
And leave the Shade. Yeah, leave the Shade.
Pretty solid. Palmblad looking pretty good in this game. Innervate. Now for Orange. And he may have to Force of Nature here just to clear.
You could Azure Drake and Hero Power.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because the Shade will stay alive anyway, so I think you kind of just Azure Drake and Hero Power and kind of hope that you don't die to a combo.
That's a better idea. I think you're right. Orange, though, in a bit of a dilemma. Down to 12 health, he knows that he could just simply die to the combo.
Yeah. I mean, now it's just a matter of time for Orange.
Well, he sees 2 cards in his opponent's hand, too, and he's like, oh boy. You double Wild Growth to get specifically to 9 mana next turn. What is it?
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
all right.
Not bad.
That helps.
You could cycle it.
I mean, you're still going to die to the combo, but you could cycle it, you're right.
Yeah, you can't change dying to the combo, so...
Yeah, you can't play around it at this point. Cycling things is pretty nice. Yep. Wild Growth. All right. Guess he didn't need to double Wild Growth after all. That hurts. You double Wild Growth and you draw into the Innervate. That would have given it to you anyway. Whoops.
Well...
What can you do?
Do you just Scenarius and double taunt here? I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, I think you double taunt and then you hit face, because then you have lethal next turn with the swipe and the Shade.
Yep.
Or the Scenarius. I don't think.
Yeah, I suppose you do have to clear the Azure Drake, otherwise swipe clears your 2/2 taunts.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough. But you would have still had lethal at that point, though, right? Because then he wouldn't have lethal on you if he had to use 4 mana to swipe.
Yeah, but he could have cleared your board, and then you're left in hand with just a swipe and an Innervate.
He couldn't have. Well, okay, yeah, I guess he could.
Yeah, because he would have run the Azure Drake into Scenarius then.
Yeah, and the Shade would have done damage to you. You're right.
Yep.
Well, still does have lethal, of course. But most likely, one of them will get cleared, so he'll need a little bit more help. Palmblad will need a little bit more help the next turn to get lethal.
2 turns away from being able to draw with that Wild Growth too, so that's a bit rough.
So for Orange, I think you have to Force of Nature here, and then you probably just Innervate out the Shredder to get some more board presence.
Probably.
That's rough, because now your win condition is
Yeah. Oh, Innervate. And Piloted Shredder. Okay, well, there's some stuff Palmball could draw into for a win, and that is
the
it.
win.
Yep. That is just enough. 13 damage total with that Druid of the Claw and the swipe, so Palmblad gonna bring it back and tie things up in game number 2.
Nice. Well, I'm glad we're getting close to matches than some might have expected today. Because we've been talking about how Korea seems to have improved, but we never really had a true way of knowing either. Obviously, we saw that they didn't make as many mistakes and whatnot during the regular season, but you know, again, this is the first time, especially for many of them, playing against foreign players.
Sure enough. Victory for Palmblad.
1-1, and his Druid passes the test. Orange will still have to bring his Druid back at some point if he wants to win the match.
He's got quite a unique Korean name too.
Palmblad?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not one that you would think of for many Koreans here.
It's not very standard. Well, we'll see what Orange goes with. He's got Druid and Warrior again for his next choice. Meanwhile, Priest and Hunter available for Palmblad.
I'm going to guess the Hunter. Oh, I was going to guess the Hunter Curse back. But the Priest is here, and so is the Warrior. Both of them bringing out the decks they haven't played yet. All right. I'm going to go ahead and assume that we're not seeing Interfire.
Yeah. It worked once. Oh, he's got Shrinkmeisters in this one, though.
Yeah, it seems to be
right.
a lot more just kind of control. But there have been some variants of Priest going around now, and then obviously Chinese Light Bomb Priest was the most popular recently.
Control for Orange, it looks like, on the Warrior side.
Yeah. But
Is that Northstar Cleric?
with double Shrinkmeister, I wonder if he's going a little bit of a different variation here. Perhaps a little bit more aggressive and or combo based.
Probably a bit more mid-rangey, I would say. There we go. There's that Northstar Cleric.
Well, trading armor for draws. That could work out.
Yep. Circle of Healing. So he's got the Octonai Soul Priest along with that. I wonder if he's even got the Injured Blade Masters in there, if we're going just like straight up old school mid-range Priest.
Yeah, I mean obviously that was the go-to for a while. Injured Blade Master not as common anymore.
This kind of Priest is coming back now because of how well it does specifically against Patron Warrior when you have the ability to take things away with Cabal Shadow Priest and stuff like that. It's a lot, you know, it's a lot like why Priest was good back in the day too. It was a lot of these types of decks that had smaller attack and things like that.
Yeah, in general, also just good against most control matchups. And
Yeah.
we are going towards a slower meta these days, so.
Whoa!
Wow!
Are you kidding me?
No
Gromash
way.
and Alex Strasza, that just happened. Oh boy.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Holy
All right.
cow.
Those might be useful in the later stages of the game.
Well, that is a thought steal if I ever saw one.
The funny thing is that if you have an Octonai Soul Priest out, you can activate Gromash with your hero power.
Exactly.
Then. Yeah. or Circle of Healing for that matter. That's hilarious. Wow.
It says your cards are mine, my cards are mine.
All right. Well, Orange in the meantime getting some good draws, getting a little bit of armor.
Yeah, Palmblad did choose not to use the coin, so.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see the Axe come out here to finish off that Cleric. Yep. That is like one of the scariest thought steals I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would agree.
Still though, the board looking good for Orange, but there's that Light Bomb, and that is really like the key card in dealing with Grim Patron boards.
Yeah. Of course, we're probably not looking at Patron here, but also against things like Gromash and Astrasa. Light Bomb is pretty good. Not as much for these lower cost minions, but that's why you have this combo, the Octonai Circle combo. Should be a quick clear. Orange will probably trade for that Octonai, but that's fine for Palmblat to do his job. Orange got his own Alex Strasza.
He did.
It's going to be a race.
Seems like it might.
5 mana. Just drawing to see what he gets from the shield block, and it's going to be a second execute, so.
Yeah, might as well save those though. You never know what's coming out later in the game. He's got plenty of armor. He's got the Death Spite to play as well. There's that Cabal Shadow Priest, but nothing to steal now.
Nah, not yet at least.
Thanks a lot, Octonai Octonai Circle of Healing.
Wow, Shadow Madness too. Palmblad does have all the tools he kind of wants for the next couple turns until he gets to his Alex Strasza also.
Yeah. Well, the really nice thing about Shadow Madness against control decks too is that you can steal Sludge Belchers with them.
Yeah. I mean, also, you know, any type of death rattle thing like the boom bots or something like that can be good too. So, for Orange, well, you know that Palmblat won't be healing anytime soon. So, do you just, well, I guess you have Shield Slam, so do you just go ahead and Shield Slam?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to have a lot of other big Shield Slam targets in this deck, so why not?
Yeah, not too many. I would assume, until you see how they stole your cards.
Yeah,
but-
until you see Garrosh hit the board, yeah, Grommash.
That's pretty straightforward, considering there's nothing to steal, like you said. So Sludge Belcher down. And if you do that, that's a solid Light Bomb turn.
Yep. So is he going to Light Bomb, or is he going to Cabal Shadow Priest and take one of the Boombots?
Oh, there is the injured Blade Master there.
Oh, yeah.
I think you just hit base and Light Bomb.
Yep, looks like that's what he's going to do.
And, oh, and yeah, there was a pretty high chance of that happening anyway with 2 Boombots.
Oh, okay, cool. So,
So it
Orange
is
is
Dragon
running
Warrior.
that, yeah, running that Dragon element. Neat.
I do like it. I think it's pretty neat. You do rely a little bit more on drawing your clears to get there, but
It's cool, though.
yeah,
And
it is cool.
Orange has never been the player to shy away from trying new cards as well, so this is not too shocking to see him try that Dragon element in Control Warrior.
do you? You have Sylvanas, or you can point out Alexstrasza, but then
Or you could take the Armor Smith.
You could take the Armor Smith. That's also pretty solid. You do have a taunt, so you're guaranteed to probably get at least one hit on there.
Yeah. Coining out Alexstrasza would be pretty nice, though. Take a big chunk out of their health. Indeed. You could also Shadow Madness and just run the Armor Smith into his Shield Maiden and just
Yeah,
call it a day there, you know?
but it'll just sit at 4 health, so I don't think that's as efficient. I think
It's
maybe
more about
just-
getting rid of the Armor Smith.
right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the
That's really
Sylvanas too, but I kind of like the Cabal better here, as you mentioned, because otherwise the armor will just keep going up. The Sylvanas is more a preventative measure for any of the other big games that might come out.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just
There
gonna
we
point
go.
it. He's just gonna try to go for the win here. So 26 health now for Orange. Now Palmblad saying that he kind of wants to play on his own terms, but there is an Execute and a Corruptor, so you could just the Corruptor and Execute, to be honest.
Yeah. 2 Corruptors even. And I do like these Blackwing Corruptors. It's a very cool card.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
I haven't had a chance to play with this particular list yet, but I've been watching it a bit on people's streams. I'm really liking it.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of uses, a lot of versatility. It basically opens up a lot of different archetypes for the different classes. And I think that is actually what makes a lot of Dragon decks more viable, more so than things like the Blackwing Technician. And
Yeah, well, Blackwing
options.
Technician is a bit hit or miss.
yeah, when it's a hit though, it's really good.
Yeah. I had tried a bit of Dragon Priest actually, going in sort of more tempo-y sort of vein. It worked out okay in that.
Yeah, I haven't toyed around with Priest too much with the cards yet, to be honest. Although it's my favorite class.
It's okay, but unfortunately the 1-mana card just isn't consistent enough.
I'm gonna make it work, man. Well,
All right, good luck. You can do it. I truly believe in you.
I'm really feeling the faith here.
Oh yeah,
장난칠 시간은 없다.
you should.
Yeah, just Sylvanas is fine.
Healing himself.
But 11 damage on board for Orange, so...
Ooh, there's Grommash. Yeah, he's gonna try to set up a
Oh,
win here.
man. Is there any way he can come back from this?
It's gonna be tough. Shrinkmeister's not gonna do it. Maybe grab the Armor Smith, gain some armor. You could take the Armor Smith with Cabal Shadow Priest. You could run Sylvanas into the Shield Maiden and guarantee to grab yourself either a 5/4 or an 8/8,
Okay.
which would be nice. that still wouldn't save you, would it?
Well, no.
Yeah, I just don't think he's got a way to clear everything.
Especially also because we're looking at the fact that there's Despite and a Gromash, either or, basically being used here.
Yeah.
Or a Despite and the Corruptor, actually. That's 7 damage for Orange.
Well, if you could go up to 12 mana and play Gromash and Shadow Madness, you could survive the turn. But I think it's pretty much over for Palmblad here.
With the Corruptor and the Despite, basically Palmblad has to find a way to get over 7 health, and he's just not going to find that right now, or get a taunt. He won't find that either way, but he is going to go with the play you mentioned, which I think is perhaps maybe the best balance of defending and trying to go for the win. But it's going to be game.
Yep.
Either way,
that's
you
right.
don't even need to use the other cards.
That is it. So Orange takes game number 3 and 1 win away from getting the first match victory for the Global Geniuses.
Yeah, definitely want that here on the side of the global players.
Of course.
Because if Palmblad ends up winning this match, it's all down to Socio, and we could just end with a 4-0 tonight.
It's possible, but I think, you know, with the caliber of all these players, I think that's pretty unlikely. And so even with Korea up 2-0 so far, I think we're going to be going to at least, I will say, 6 matches.
6 matches seems pretty reasonable. I think that's probably the most reasonable that we've got. But the players are already into the next game, so we're just moving right on.
All right.
Again, of course, we do have a lot of games planned for today, potentially quite a lot. So we will be moving quickly from game to game. And Palmblad,
I like it. I like moving quickly from game to game, Chobra.
It's pretty great. Because then, you know, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about games, not really other things. And if there aren't games in front of our eyes. Well, usually, that's what I was told when I first signed up for a job at OGN, that I would be talking about games. But soon enough, I found out I talk about things like the McGrogler.
Adorable, naive Chobra. Totes adorbs,
Is it?
Chobra. It's totes adorbs.
Thank you. And that's the motto of my life.
That's right.
Live life, totes adorbs.
Living my totes adorbs.
Well,
if only you could go back in time and make that one a hit, Chobra.
Here we go. Strong start for Face Hunter as it often goes.
Yep.
Oh man, 6 damage.
Yep, but swipe is a possibility next turn.
And you can cycle from the Wrath this turn too if you want.
True.
I think a lot of times you might not want to because, you know, maybe there's a Huffer coming down the road or something like that. But at the same time, there's 3 minions on board this turn, and I don't think you want to take any more hits to face when there's already 3 of them on board.
Well, if Huffer comes out, you just kill him with swipe.
Oh, because you have, all right, you have point swipe
so
anyway.
I think it's okay to pick one of these guys and wrath it for 1 and just see what you get. I mean, the hand is a little bit lackluster. You really need like one of those Keeper of the Groves or something.
Yeah.
Or Drew of the Claw. You need Taunt.
Yeah, either of those would do pretty well. Obviously, Keeper of the Grove helps with clearing the board and controlling the tempo a little bit, but okay, he's just gonna go for Hero Power.
Wow.
Very
Yeah, it takes another damage that way, but saves his Wrath. Playing it very, very, trying to play it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if it's Leok. Nope.
Oh, Huffer though.
Even more damage. Yeah, Orange is like, oh boy. At least he can coin out the swipe this turn, which
that's so
you're gonna need to do.
Crucial.
Yeah. Yep, there's a coin.
Now the thing is, you still don't have an ideal turn for play, so the Wrath is the only thing you're really looking for here.
Yep. That's probably why he saved it. All right.
So Palmblad, I think you just, I guess you just Wolfrider here. Or, well.
So you're saying he should maybe play the Knife Juggler and Hero Power instead?
Fair, But I think the Wolf Rider and then just saving the Knife Juggler for a possible.
Yeah. I was going to say you could also just hero power, but that doesn't get anything out of it. Right.
Well, now you definitely want to Wrath the Knife Juggler because otherwise the damage is pretty amplified. The swipe you want to save for later because it's just a single target. So, I guess you just Wrath it, hero power. Or, okay. Well, then you would get to Wrath for the cycle.
Yeah.
This is true.
All right. It's interesting. He's already so low, though. He's down to 8. And
Yeah, it's going to be hard to climb back out from this.
Yeah, he can't really play any minions either. There's a Druid of the Claw. If anything could climb out of this, it would be that. But he doesn't really have the luxury of playing it this turn, unfortunately.
Yeah, and at this point, already at 8 health, the taunt isn't going to help you because it's just 4 turns that you're waiting for your death.
Yeah.
So, you gotta just put down a shade, yeah. And then I actually think you just gotta charge with the Druid at 1.2.
Yep. You just cross your fingers now. Well, there's a Knife Juggler. Does he want to gamble on the single Unleash to
No,
do
I
it?
think
Also,
you...
Knife Juggler, you Leper Gnome, and then you see what it hits.
Yeah.
And then you
just
hero power anyway,
yeah. In my opinion, actually, that... Ooh, okay.
He really wants that Knife Juggler Unleash.
I guess he kind of has the luxury to play with that right now. Also, because those are the only 2 cards left in his hand. So again, you don't run too much out of steam.
It's a way to get past taunts, too, and get that last few crucial points of damage.
Yes.
So, you can see that.
I guess you have to silence it. Otherwise, you pretty much die next turn, so...
一等chỉ cho要好。
Silence, and he reveals his Shade of Naxxramas. All right, so back up to 7. Palmblad kind of counting on top decking at this point, but there's a lot you can top deck in Face Hunter, and that is not it. That is not one of them.
But yeah, now you unleash the hounds with the Knife Juggler, and if it doesn't clear the shade, you put them to the Mad Scientist.
Oh, wow, nice.
But there you go.
He got it.
He wanted that second knife to face for sure.
Yeah. So I suppose you just go to face and hero power at this point. Maybe play that Mad Scientist.
I think maybe you play the Mad Scientist just because that threatens a lot more lethal, and their swipe is gone. Both of their swipes are gone.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
to use both of the spells there. So, okay, hero power is fine too. I mean, I guess either way, you bring him down to below 5. It's a threat one way or the other.
But Ancient of Lore this turn. He could just heal right back up again.
True.
What else does he have? He also has the option to taunt and leave his opponent with only a couple 1/1s. The problem is that if there's a kill command, he can't. It doesn't look like he can get rid of all the beasts this turn.
No. So I think you just heal and you hope. All right, well, 4 damage right now for Palmblad this turn. What does he draw from it?
Oh, the owl, man. Well, at least he's got another beast to activate kill command with.
Yeah, but he's just going to put it down because, again, no swipes.
Just going for it. Yeah. Trying to overwhelm his opponent as much as he can, and he's got such a big life lead that he's still got a pretty good chance to take it.
Yeah, I don't see a way where Orange is going to win this because even with the taunt, like, you would need 2 healing touches to get out of this. And no one really uses that card for Druid.
I just worry a little bit about that Druid of the Claw, you know? Because it is a pretty substantial taunt. And also, you know, you don't have that beast for the kill command if you draw it. So I think playing the Owl may have been a little bit too hasty for Palmblad. I mean, did he really need to do that 2 damage right then? Or did he really need to get that minion out? Because he didn't even do 2 damage with it.
Right.
So did he really need that on the board right now?
True.
I'm not so
He
sure.
had so much mana. But either way, I do think the game is pretty much over here.
Probably.
Even with the taunt again.
Well, if he does throw down that taunt, Palmblad's going to need to draw into something to remove it.
누구도 기다리지
Fair enough.
않는
Or he could just run to his hook shot.
어디를 공격할까?
Well, again, you know, there is a lot that he can draw. Looks like he's not even bothering the hero power. The bow. All right. Well,
Oh man, 1 damage off.
yeah, it's not quite enough.
But you're at 27 health. I mean, and well, what trap does he play? If he has explosive, you definitely just run this in. I mean, I think explosive is the go-to.
Oh, it is. It's explosive trap.
So
All right, force of nature. He needs the hero power, but well, no, hero power
no,
wouldn't even
you
save him.
still-
He's gone.
You can't. Yeah.
It's just over.
Game is over.
Palmblad tying things up with the
Wow.
Hunter. We're going to another game 5. These matches
He
have been
would've-
pretty close tonight.
If it wasn't explosive trap, he would have won with the combo.
Yeah, looking
And
that
he
way.
just has to check. 'Cause it could be a freezing trap.
You never know. You never know.
Oh,
Now
man.
he's very sad.
Oh, GG.
And Palmblad takes it. And we are going to game number 5.
Yeah, we're back to the Priest now for Palmblad. And the Druid stays alive, or I guess it's not really staying alive because he lost one. But
It's still available anyway.
yeah, it's still available for Orange. And we're down to the wire once again in the best of 5, tied 2-2 between Palmblad and Orange. Palmblad for the Korean All-Killers, and Orange for the Global Geniuses. Both players are right in the game. They also both want to try to see who's going to take the win and prepare for the next match if they possibly need to play another one.
And we are right into it already. Match 3, set 5. Third best of 5 of the night. Comes down to the 5th game, and it's going to be that Druid from Orange versus the Priest from Palmblad.
Oh man, Orange is playing a Kizzen Mystic.
I know, like I just thought, I'm like, oh, where were you last game?
done.
The job is done.
Yeah. Well, pretty rough starting hand for Palmblad. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Not as bad for Orange because you've got the coin, you've got the shade. You also have the Wrath, Light of Minara.
The light shall burn you.
Do you coin now? The shade. I don't think you do.
Eh, what do you really get from it, you know?
Yeah, because it doesn't
hero
lead,
power?
Yeah, it doesn't lead to another turn 3 play, so I think you just hero power. And
You could argue that it would be good to do it if he plays like if he plays a priest, or sorry, cleric rather this turn, because then next turn it'll have 3 attack. Finish it
fair.
off. So I do see that, which I think is probably part of the reason that he played it at least.
You definitely need the Stringmeister here to contest the shade.
Yep.
So Orange,
Wrath.
I guess you just Wrath, and I don't think you attack with the shade. Well, actually, you saw that he had a light bomb, so maybe you do attack with it, or at least wait until it's 4 and then attack.
Yeah,
with
I would probably wait a turn or 2.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Wrath. Wrath of nature. Shadow or Deaths, wow.
Wow, yeah, he's really concerned about some of those bigger minions. I do think, again, in the slower meta, we can return to 2 Shadow or Dust.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable for Prius. You know, we'll probably see Prius come back a little bit more in the next couple tournaments.
It also just takes a while to figure out Priest after a big change. Like, I mean, I think people are still sort of recovering from GBG
Yeah,
as far
that's
as
true.
Priest goes, you know? It's just a class that takes a long time to figure out. There's Jones.
Man, there's nothing Palmblack can really do here because you can't kill the Shade, and if you put Harrison Jones down, the Shade will just trade with it, and then the Shade will have truly gotten all the value it really needs to. But I guess you gotta at the same time because you couldn't do anything else. You would, otherwise, you would
Wow.
take 5 damage for free to the face.
Yeah. He's got that Druid of the Claw as well. So far, Orange looking pretty good. I
guess you just taunt with that
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
just hit face.
Yep. Because if you taunt with it, it doesn't die at a light bomb. You can just kind of throw it out there too, I suppose.
어디를 공격할까요?
Yeah. Boom, threw it out there.
Very well done. That Shadow or Death waiting for you.
Ooh, Zul'jin.
Yeah, Vol'jin not gonna be, excuse me, not gonna be
Vol'jin.
ideal here.
Did I say Zul'jin? I meant Vol'jin.
Yeah. Who's Zul'jin? Is Zul'jin a character?
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally is.
I don't know my lore.
He is.
I do believe you.
I believe he was in one of the raids.
Now,
But the conundrum for Palmblad at the moment, do you just Vol'jin the Druid of the Claw?
I don't think so, because the Shade will still trade for it the next turn. So I think you just Shadow or Death the Shade, and you... Ooh, actually...
장난칠 시간이
Okay, just playing this Sylvanas. I'm okay with that, too.
Yeah. All right, another Druid of the Claw. Not bad. One turn away from Dr. Boom as well. It's getting a bit tricky now at this point, though.
과연 어떻게 할까?
You...
So, Druid of the Claw, you could trade in with Harrison Jones and, you know, make it just kind of a less appealing target for Sylvanas and then just attack face with the Shade, I suppose. But then what do you play, you know? Your own Druid of the Claw? Again?
과연 어떻게 할까?
Maybe.
As a charge, perhaps?
That would be okay. Again, I think a big part of this is that Orange knows that they can get down here, so that's
Yeah.
going to determine kind of how he uses the minions he has on board. But if that Shade stays alive, it's going to still do a lot of damage. So he's basically forcing Palmblaad to, you know, make the hard choices himself.
Making the hard choices.
Yeah, the hard choices of life, man.
Well, Zul'jin was the final boss of Zulaman, by the way, which was the second raid in Burning Crusade.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And I like this play.
Great raid, too.
This way you can trigger your Sylvanas.
Very cool.
And whichever one you get, you win.
Oh, wow.
You don't win the game, but
A big win there. And he's going to get a Light Warden on top of all that.
yeah, really solid.
Not
Now,
bad.
what ways do you have to deal with this? None directly.
Nope, he can put a little bit of strength on the board with Dr. Boom, obviously. Could also draw with Ancient of Lore and still be in okay shape.
과연 어떻게 할까?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, this is a reality that Orange has to live in right now.
I think you just Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're scared of the light bomb, I mean, his board will be clear too, so.
Now, the problem is his opponent has 2 Shadow or Deaths and a Shadow Madness in his hand.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh, this could.
And if Vol'jin gets hit with a bomb, he can use Circle of Healing and buff up his Light Warden as well, too.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yep. Bombs away.
Looks like it hits the light. Oh no, it's
Oh.
right in base.
Wow. All right, so Palmblad one less in the health department, but with a really nice board right now.
Yep, 7 damage on board, and that light one will continue to grow.
Yeah, not enough to cast Cenarius just yet.
과연
So this may be a turn for Ancient of Lore to draw just to see what you pick up.
Might not be too bad. Swipe and Wrath are also an option here
True.
to cycle off of that Vulcan. I guess you would do it in the reverse order, of course, to see what you draw first. And then you can Hero Power actually if you did Light Warden too.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, and then the next turn, go ahead and put down Cenarius.
Yeah, the swipe will clean things up pretty nicely. And now Palmblad with a bit of an awkward hand. 2 Circle of Healings and 1 Shadow Word Death. And, oh man.
Yeah, you just heal and pass, and that tells your opponent
Yeah.
that you don't really have too many cards to work with here.
Yeah, when you run 2 Shadow Word Deaths like that, you can get kind of stuck sometimes. And
Yep.
this is why you don't see a lot of buffing cards used in Hearthstone, is because you can run into so many situations where it's just kind of all you have, you know?
And orange is set up.
This is interesting. Okay.
Oh, but you can get the clear.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually
Wow.
with Shadow Word Death. Very cool.
Oh, wow. And you have the Blue Master.
Yep, just gonna throw that out. And check it out.
Wow.
Nice turn for Palmblad.
Yeah, 7 damage on board. Still the full combo in Orange's hand, so he just needs to get 5 more damage to Palmblad. Do you just go an Ancient of Lore?
Certainly could. Do you think you want to play the big game hunter as well too?
I was wondering that.
'Cause you don't see a lot of high attack minions in Priest.
Yeah, not too many.
Not aside from like Dr. Boom sometimes.
Right,
yeah.
Dr. Boom is probably the go-to. You might see Rag now and then, of course.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, especially when you're already at 19 health, that's the Rag is probably going to do the biggest impact as soon as it lands for the Priest too.
True.
장난칠 시간은 없다.
Sylvanas. All right.
이건 박물관으로
Okay.
가야 돼.
Put things in museums.
Well, oh.
Well, you can clear Harrison pretty easily without losing anything.
You can clear both, right?
Yeah, you could.
So,
Well, you would have to. I mean, the thing is, if he did that, because you're saying, Circle of Healing, then attack the Pyromancer into Harrison, then attack the Injured Blade Master into Sylvanas, right? Which would give them an Injured Blade Master.
yes.
So this is the way I was kind of thinking, where you just go to base and then kind of ignore it.
That makes sense.
But I should have actually just said that instead of saying I was thinking it. 'Cause then the doubts come up.
It's true. But that
That
should
is
be
it.
it.
Yep, Savage Roar will buff that up enough to killing it. Looks like Orange will take a match for the Global Geniuses.
Well, Orange will definitely be setting up guard for the Global Geniuses then after our next match, where we will see Savitz go up against Socio after a little break.
That's
But Orange giving a little nod to the camera, takes a win for the Geniuses. And that also means that match number 5, the matchup is already decided. They're just going to go in order of the players who won. So it's going to be Orange going up against Luxam in our 5th match, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we will go up to at least match 5, so that's exciting to know. So Orange will see you in a little bit after the next one. But for now, we will take a short break on this channel, and then we'll return with Savitz going up against Socio, the winner of Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 1.
Should be an awesome match, man. A veteran of Hearthstone since the very early days versus probably the best player we've seen yet in Korea.
Yeah, a winner of OGN Hearthstone too for Savitz.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
Invitational, the very first Invitational we
Two
did.
OGN champions, yeah.
Yeah, of course, Savitz, that was when it was still, it was just releasing, and we had
Not
a little
the
bit of fun
most-
with the invitation, but
Yeah, not the most serious tournament ever, but he still won it.
yeah.
And after we come back, we'll see that next best of 5, guys. Do not go anywhere. Savitz versus Socio right after this.